a little bit. Don't fall. Okay. Hey, guys. Welcome back to Sip with Joy, a show about a girl, her wine, and her feelings. And I am that girl. I am your host, Joy M. Hutton. Now I feel like there's a shadow over my face. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I don't know. My mic is being crazy today. But I am that girl. I am your host, Joy M. Hutton, serial entrepreneur and lover of food and wine. And you know, I gotta let you know what the wine of the day is. Okay, so I'm still in my Greece mood coming off of my trip to Greece, and I am drinking a Greek wine called Acertico. If you visited Santorini, this is very popular there, native to Santorini. Other regions of Greece produce it as well, so you know I'll tell you about it at Sip with Joy on Instagram on my sip of the day. So make sure you go and check that out, and we'll get into today's topic. Hey, Elsie. Hey, Lydia. All right, so today's topic, and I forgot to take my sip, y'all. I'm so tired, it's not even funny. Mm. So today's topic is, or episode is titled, Something's Gotta Give. All right, because life be lifing, and I'm feeling the, I'm feeling it, y'all. But sometimes you just want to throw in a towel, and so I want to talk about what to do when you're feeling defeated. And so we will talk about that and more. So I've had a week, y'all, and it's only Monday, which is crazy. But it more so is trickling from last week. So I want to just kind of talk to you guys about just like my week. And sometimes you really do want to throw it all away. But last week was rough. It was good, but it was also rough. And I'm a recovering perfectionist, y'all. If y'all don't know that, I probably shared this with you all before, but I'm a recovering perfectionist, and I have to realize things are not always going to go my way. And this is mostly in business, because I tend to be more flexible in my personal life, even though I tend to be a little stubborn because I am a goat. My fellow Capricorn is on here, LC. But yeah, so I have to learn how to be more flexible in business as well, because again, things are not going to always turn out the way you want them to. So I have to shout out my hearts, Lydia, my bestie boo, Robin. I have to shout you guys out because you all have helped me through this past week. And I also want to shout out my Glambassador Sharon, who also held down On the Go Glam, my business. She held down the fort in my absence. So I want to thank you guys, because you can't do life by yourself, and I know I can't, and so I call on my people. um, and I think when we're feeling defeated, we have to figure out what is the root of that feeling. Are you feeling overwhelmed? And I know for me, I do not like the idea of disappointing people. I don't think anybody likes it, but some people deal with it a little tougher than others. And I know for me, I think it stems from my childhood. Have you seen my childhood? Michael Jackson. But I think it really does, because my parents used to put the fear of God in me for bringing home bad grades. So I've always had this fear of failure and not wanting to disappoint them. And that has definitely trickled over into adulthood. And I know a lot of people can attest to that, like, how they don't want to disappoint their parents and, disappoint people that they love in general. And then again, going back to business, like, that's definitely something I don't want to do. So, I'm slowly, very slowly relinquishing that guilt, but it's not easy, okay? Um, Lydia said, tell them what I did. Pat yourself on the back, 92% fish. So, okay, my company, On the Go Glam, if you all know the business magazine, Inc. magazine, they had their Inc. 5000 gala last week, and On the Go Glam, my company, provided hair and makeup services. So I'm really proud of that. I was trying to manage it from afar, which was very stressful. And of course, things don't always go perfect, especially when you're planning an event of that magnitude. So yeah, now I'm kind of, dealing with the aftermath of everything and having like, a total breakdown about it. So I already cried myself a river earlier. And so I'm not going to do that with y'all today because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be on Sip with Joy crying. So I got my cry out. I got my cry out because I am hard on myself. I am, even when it comes to like the podcast and it really anything that I do, I want to do stuff in excellence. I want to make sure you guys have great content. I want to make sure, branding looks good. All these things, Um, and like I said, I tend to be more flexible in my personal life because I'm not perfect. The reality is not I'm not perfect, but business is different for me because I'm producing a service or a product. So I want to make sure that it's all good. Um, and when you work so hard, that's when it really just kind of weighs on you a little bit harder. So, so you know, overcoming that defeat, there are lessons that I'm still learning. And I want to talk through those with you guys because maybe it can help you. Because again, I'm still learning. I'm dealing with this right now, overcoming defeat and just like wanting to throw in the towel. So I think, one of the things for me is it's okay to feel what you feel because these feelings are valid. You don't want to sit in it forever, but you want to feel what you feel. Thank you, Daniel. You want to feel what you feel. And so I have to receive that myself because I'm like, okay, I'm feeling this. I got to bounce back, but it's okay to sit in it for a little bit. And then imagine like what you would say to a friend in the same situation, and then say that thing to yourself. And that's one of the things that I'm practicing right now too. But I actually did call a friend, so that's the next thing that you could do. Call a friend. Like Robin was sitting there right with me in planning this event and well executing it because it was already being planned, but executing the event while we were in Greece last week, and it was insane. Like I wasn't getting any sleep, and then my crazy self comes back and does a podcast on Monday. I just got back late Saturday. Craziness. So but I do these things to myself. And Lydia always tells me all the time, like, Joy, take some off. You have to take something off your plate. It's going to be this podcast if y'all stop playing with me. No, but this is actually fun for me, so I'm not going to do that just yet. But yeah, just taking things off of my plate. So calling a friend, and not just calling a friend, but one who will be honest with you. Because there's a lot of people that would just kind of coddle you. I don't need coddling. I need a good old kick in the ass. Tell me the truth and be honest with me. Because I may not like what I'm hearing, but I think I'm good with receiving it, So and this is why like I call Lydia and Robin because they'll be honest with me. And especially from a business perspective, I get that honest feedback as well. Um, and you can't deal with things alone. It's okay to ask for a little help, and that has been a challenge for me over the years, but I've done it. um, and I'm also guilty of retreating and going inward and shutting down. That's that goat in me too. But when things don't go the way I want them to go, I don't deal well with chaos. And again, not everybody does well with chaos, but some people deal with it differently than others. So, Lydia, Lydia is crazy. Um, so the other thing too is kind of avoid jumping to conclusions, and trying to reframe your thoughts and looking at the situation from a different perspective. Like Lydia just told y'all, show what I've done. I'm not even telling y'all what I did. I'm just focusing on all the negative stuff. And so again, reframing your thoughts. So see, this is where I am a work in progress too. But reframing your thoughts and seeing things from a different perspective. And then, woo-sawing a little bit, taking a step back from whatever it is that you're feeling guilty about or feeling overwhelmed about or feeling defeated about. And being kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. I'm still beating myself up. And I'm telling you these things, guys, but I'm also talking to myself because I'm working through all of this as we speak right now, okay? Feeling defeated because something's got to give, okay? So I am talking to myself as I'm talking to you. Help me help you. Or um, so again, it's happening to me right now as well. And then make a choice, make a choice to get back up and move forward. So like I was on the phone with Lydia earlier and just literally like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. Um, because of all the things that were going on behind the scenes. I don't want to do this anymore. Throw the whole business away. I'm just going to focus on my other stuff. But again, that's me feeling defeated. And so she talked me off the ledge. She did talk me off the ledge, and I'm grateful for that. Um, and then accepting that you are not always going to be in your comfort zone. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I learned that maybe like 5 years ago. And I heard it just as I was kind of going through my divorce. And whoa, is that true? Like being comfortable, being uncomfortable. Because what being uncomfortable does is it forces you to grow. And so it forces you to deal with situations maybe that you haven't encountered before. So it's new things teach you lessons, and we have to take the lessons from those things. So I have to realize that too. Like, okay, Joy, take a step back. Like I said, woosah, and think about what you have learned from this situation, and make a choice to move forward. The sermon at my church on Sunday was about the point of no return, and I literally felt like I was at a point of no return. But your turning points lead to a shift in a new direction, and of it reminds us that we don't know what's coming. We don't know what God is up to. We don't know. And so I needed to hear that. Shout out to Pastor T at St. John's downtown. But yeah, so the other thing too is, and Lydia reminded me of this. I know I'm talking about Lydia a lot today, but that's my bestie, and she saved me from jumping off the cliff. But one of the things she reminded me of is that when you ask for something, she's like, you ask to work with bigger brands, you ask to do different things in your business, to be stretched. So you have to be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. So, and you have to be ready to receive it. I'm here. I'm ready. It ain't easy, but I'm here, and I'm receiving all of it. So the other thing is taking baby steps, when you are feeling defeated, because micro wins are also good. So, like, she was saying earlier, like 92%, you may not get that 100% that you want. It may be that 8% that you're not feeling so good about, but there's 92% that you can feel good about, and not feeling defeated by the 8%. Robin mentioned to me too, she's like, you can have 100 reviews that are good, and you focus on one negative one. Or you could get feedback on a job from somebody, and but you didn't realize that your performance was stellar, but you focus on that one negative thing somebody said about you. So it's like we have to take the good with the bad and shift our mindset on that. Elsie said, I always ask God to prepare me for what I prayed for. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then taking a break. Like for me, I said I was going to take a break this week after coming off of that event. Had to show up for y'all this Monday, okay? Because in a few more weeks, then it'll be the end of the season, and then y'all won't see me until next year. So I wanted to do that, and this is also something that I love to do as well. But taking a break, there are some things I have to deal with on the back end with the event, but also just decompressing. Taking a moment to decompress and reflect from whatever it is that has you feeling defeated, that has you feeling overwhelmed. Because a lot of times we're not giving ourselves grace, and then we're jumping, just like people be jumping from one relationship to the next. You just jumping from one project to the next, and not giving yourself some time in between. So I am not adding anything else to my plate, because I know Lydia be giving me a side eye. Daniel said, when God gives you increase, you have to be ready for more responsibilities. You're absolutely right, and I appreciate that. I'm ready. It's just a good old kick in the behind right now, and I'm taking it. Um, and then also, not focusing on the negative because it's easy to do that. Just like kind of like the example I just gave with like reviews or feedback on the job, or even if you got constructive criticism from a partner or from a friend, how can you shift that into positive? How can you shift that into changing your perspective about the whole thing? So don't focus on the negative. A lot of times people are like, this is the worst thing that ever happened to me. And, but you're not alone in what you're going through. So don't think about it that way. Um, and then accepting failure. This is a tough one because nobody likes to fail. I read a post. I want to say it was last week or the week before about a business that I admired, and they're shutting down. And so I was like, wow, But the CEO, like her perspective on accepting failure and moving forward, she's like, basically it was a good run. I learned some things, built some great relationships, but it's just time to shut it down. And but it was a beautiful message about accepting failure, and I think a lot of the times we have a fear of failure, but that only holds us back from moving forward. So she's embracing this next chapter of her life. But like I said earlier about defeat, it's a part of learning and growing, and when we see it that way, then we can manage it easier. Again, I'm telling myself all of these things because I am a work in progress. And I initially, when you're in it, you're not thinking about the growth. You're not thinking about the lessons that you can learn from it. You just think, oh my gosh, the ish has hit the fan and I have to deal with this. And you go into panic mode. You go into, it's like you're in distress and you're stressed out. Like, you're not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And I get it. That's a human response. Um, and then when we fail, whether that's in personal life or business, it's actually an indication that we're trying to grow, or outgrow where we are, and that's a beautiful thing. And that's something that someone had helped me to see, because we're being stretched, and if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. Okay, so let's see. LC said, I think we all focus on how far we need to go instead of how far we have come. Absolutely. I know I do. And again, this is something that I'm constantly working through, because even going through a divorce, right? I saw that as a failure because I'm like, well, I thought I was a pretty good judge of character and blah blah blah, and I had to realize that it wasn't just me. It was two can play the game, or it takes two to tango, whatever they say. But I had to realize that it wasn't just me, because I blamed myself. I felt ashamed of going through a divorce. There were so many different emotions, that you have to bounce back from. And then you have to take time to really rebuild your self esteem, your confidence, your faith. You got to restore your faith in love and humanity. I know humanity is pretty extreme, but no, you may not have faith in people after you've gone through a traumatic divorce, because trust for me was a big thing coming out of my divorce, and I literally did feel defeated, and it took me a while to sit in that and to heal from it. And thank God for healing, thank God for therapists and all of that, because it was a tough situation. So I think going through that though has definitely stretched me as a person, and it's constantly things that you have to go through. Again, we were talking about this earlier, and Lydia was mentioning this won't be the end. You're gonna have something else that happens, and it's gonna be bigger, and you're gonna have all these things that you need to deal with. And life is just all about challenges, and it's how we grow through them and how we push through those challenges to get on the other side of it. And I think that's when the beauty, or that's where the beauty is, when you can get on the other side of it. Because I know, look, I told y'all I was so stressed out when I went through my divorce, and I thought like I was gonna lose everything. But coming out on the other side of it was a beautiful thing. Joy 2.0. you know. And Joy 2.0, I'm embracing her, loving her, and taking all the lessons that come with who I am today. So I'm here. I'm here. I'm grateful. Gratitude is another thing about coming through a situation where you feel defeated, like having gratitude. I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've been met with, and grateful for the people that are around me that offer support. Because I was ready to just cut it all off, y'all. But thank God for friends who will talk you off the ledge. You need people like that. So when you are feeling that, don't deal with it by yourself, okay? Do not deal with that shit by yourself. Um, so I'm all here for growth, all here for the lessons. I am not perfect. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I know my flaws, and I embrace them all and try to learn from it. So I know this is a short episode tonight. I'm resting my voice. We'll be back with a guest next week. And I appreciate you all listening to my rants and my feelings and all of that stuff. And thank you for tuning in. And I'll see you guys next week.